Andy, you said something the other day about how Jamjar shouldn't have been ranked, and then I looked at his results and wins that year the other day, and I was like, this man should not have been ranked.
That was
Where-
literally that was half the reason he made those rankings that year, just to put himself on.
Yeah, he's like, I beat Lodo, that's enough. That's how I felt looking at it
And he
anyways.
put himself
mean-
in like 37 or something, right?
Nah, it was low 50s, I
So
think.
It was
crazy.
the 50s. It was the 50s, but I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
he
it was.
probably ranked himself higher though. I'm sure that happened.
He
There
probably put
we
himself
go.
in 20s, and the average just got skewed.
Before we get
Yeah.
into this, Andy, can I know who had me the highest and who had me the lowest in the rankings?
I could
If you
pull it
have
up.
that, if you have that easily accessible. I just want to know who I
I
like.
can't.
who I
I could
like.
pull
I
it
don't
up
know if
here.
I can name names. That's like doxing, bro.
Yeah,
You
dude.
can dox. I'm okay with it.
I remember Jamjar sent me the Excel sheet of like to like rank everybody, and I think it had like 130 something names, and I ranked like 80 people, and he was like, there's no way I can accept this with you only ranking 80 people out of the 120, bro. Like, come on."
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was
That's
Hold
wild.
on. So I'm looking at the bracket for that year, the True Skill rankings. He's
Yeah.
at 118.
damn, and he ended up at like in the 50s. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey man, it is what it is. He's just the best, I think.
Well, okay, so he did beat Lodo and Finio.
Oh, that's actually not.
Yeah, let's say I don't know much about 2018 Finio, but
He's probably pretty good though.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
imagine.
He was like
yeah.
middle. He was like middle of the pack around that time. You know?
Are
Yeah.
we
Kringle, how long have you been in the community for? I feel like I didn't know of you until I started playing online.
I mean, my first tournament I played at was in 2016, but I kind of like
Oh,
knew
shit.
about this. I knew about the scene like in 2014, 2015 type of thing.
Oh shit, I didn't know. I didn't know you were since 2016.
Yeah,
All right,
I heard first. I remember first hearing about your name back at like 2017 at Let's Go when you were like pulling some names back then, bro.
Yeah, I beat Supa at Let's Go.
Wax,
All right, so Waxy, I'll just tell you who ranked you the highest. That was
Okay.
Dr. Sauce at 28.
Whoa.
Thank you, Dr. Sauce.
He's a
He's
real
getting
one.
He's getting a friend request on Discord.
There you go.
Wax
That's all it takes sometimes.
didn't beat at Let's Go? You didn't beat at Let's Go?
Yeah, I do actually. You're stupid, Mario.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, what? You guys played at Let's Go? That's kind of
Well, dude,
wild.
That was the first in like a string of like 3 tournaments in a row where we played each other.
Yeah, we played at that
Damn.
next Keystone too.
And so that was like Mario Puff then, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dang.
The good old days. I've been playing a lot of Mario recently too, so who knows? Look out.
Bro, I mean, after that Jaime battle at the border run, bro.
It was inspiring. It was inspiring.
It can be done.
It can be done.
He beat fucking Boom, dude.
He beat Boom. He beat Bark. He beat KD3. I mean,
Is
Mario,
ETAB coming on tonight?
KD
Mario
3
Pika.
too?
He did. He did.
Yo,
Wow, Mario run.
Yo, Waxy, is ETAB coming on tonight?
I'm not entirely sure. I could message him if you want.
No, you don't have to.
Going back to good Mario runs for a second, though, I'm telling you, Boom's Crowy Fest.
All right, I'll be right back, guys.
That's also equally as inspiring.
I didn't see that.
I wouldn't say it's as inspiring, but okay.
Obviously it's Boom. Like I'm watching, and I'm seeing some things I can maybe steal. It's inspiring in that way.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Mario just had a good year, and it makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, it was his best year since like 2013, right? Since Isaiah won with Mario at that Apex.
Maybe
not one, but like second place or whatever.
Yeah. I say watching Isaiah's
Star get like 7th at a SmashCon with Mario.
Oh yeah, that was solid. That was solid too. Yeah.
I believe that was 2015.
Yes.
Yeah, he got like 5th, I think, that SmashCon. Yeah.
I think you reverse 3-0'd Stranded.
Yep. I think that sounds right.
and then he played LD and kind of got the work.
Yeah, I don't remember. But he also
I,
had.
I think he had to play Kuro actually after Stranded. He like had to fight Kuro in losers.
Oh, actually, I
I
must have
think
played. I know he played LD at some
he-
point in that tournament.
I think Keystone 3, he might have got 5th.
Damn, I'm not scrolling up. I'm need Andy to resend that to Google Doc.
Yeah, Andy, where are you, bro? Hurry, hurry, hurry. So I'm noticing a lack of box in this 40 to 30 range. It's just not right.
I mean, I mean, looking at these like list of players here, guess who survived another round of rankings, bro?
Engler,
Uh,
we did it. We did it.
What's up, Dunk?
Yo, Andy,
Yeah.
could you send the doc in again? So I just tried scrolling and looking for it, and then I lost interest.
Click pen tweets. It should be a little thumb looking thing.
Oh,
You're so on
oh
top.
shit! I didn't know about that.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
That's
Okay.
legendary. Let me give Andy another viewer.
You've got to.
Oh, we already got 11 viewers up in the house.
Nice. Let's
yeah,
go.
I mean, like Andy's stream's been popping off this last few days, man.
The word's getting out. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what consistency does. Yeah, I didn't know you were a Dunk. Gully Lower.
Okay.
Probably
so-
pronounced that. Probably butchered that. But that's okay. Probably not. Or I did. So dogs might be hopping on. We'll see.
What?
Well,
Oh, there he is.
he is indeed on.
He
Let's
hopped
go,
on.
dogs.
He's already been on.
Logs Janssen.
How do I sound, by the way?
Johnson.
Am I clear?
Let me play through
My
my
mic was like cranked for a sec, so I turned it back down.
Yeah, how do all of us sound on stream, like our audio levels, I guess?
For a sec, so I turned it back down.
Neil was quiet
Quiet?
when I listened to the stream. Neil
All
was
right,
very
cool.
quiet. Everybody else.
Yeah, no, I could hear everyone pretty clear.
Nice.
Well, before
up,
we begin,
Rocket?
dogs, what do you mean by my reasonable tweet, bro? I feel like most of my tweets are pretty reasonable.
Well, that was the most. That was by far the most.
Okay, yeah, we'll get in. We'll get into that once we get to number 31.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're like, if anybody, like, so like a classic thing about rankings when they release, everybody sees the wins and they're like, "What the hell? How you have so many good wins? You're so low." Like that, you hear that all the time because we don't list people's losses because that's kind of an asshole move, right? Like we're trying to celebrate how people did well and like where they rank up. We're not trying to be like, this guy did good, but he also lost to all this like laundry list of players. So like,
Yeah.
we don't see like that. I guess.
Yeah, there's not enough
side.
characters to list my losses on there either.
So yeah,
I
thought that
can
was
turn
fair.
dogs up a little bit.
It was very respectable. Very respectable, in my opinion, for you to have like the graciousness to acknowledge that your floor wasn't as consistent as other players that will be like above you or around your same range.
Yeah, no, yeah, I feel like that's easily recognized. I had a lot of losses. So.
Some people don't know that though because they only see the wins and like they don't know like your more regional results that were still counted for the rankings and all that. So
Yeah.
That could have been mitigated if you just beat Maha in game 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
oh.
That round won a bracket, Waxy?
I mean, either that win or loss was just great for the lore because of how close it was, and it was up to Waxy to throw it, which was also crazy.
That wasn't recorded either, was it?
And the mystery, the
was.
mystery
It
up
was.
air that sent the wrong way
What?
was also crazy.
Yeah,
it was
that
uploaded.
was unfortunate. Yeah, Neil, you should watch that set. So actually, I got some cool ass wrestling on set. All right,
And Neil
bye.
seems pretty quiet. I just turned him up though.
I was fucking waiting with bated breath, waiting for those Waxy bots to come out. When Dark Horse was like, I'm uploading D1, I'm uploading bracket. I was like, please refresh Waxy sets, please.
Yeah, you hit me
Yeah.
up after they came out. I appreciated it.
Oh yeah, what I like stole what you usually say. Like you like
Yeah,
put some
on Westside
comment.
versus Chalaka. Yeah, you said what a champ. I was commenting on all my videos and what a champ, and I go to commenting and I see non-John already commented what a champ or not that. Yeah, I appreciated it. It made me laugh.
That's what I was talking about. I was hoping you'd get a kick out of that.
All right, well, are we starting off with EPAD?
Yes, sir.
Our
Number
boy,
40
Ethan.
himself. Thank you for the follow, Queso. I don't have any I don't have anything that shows that I get followers or not yet. Yeah.
Streamer practice.
Yeah, so EPAD. What can we say about EPAD? Grandpa himself, online grinder, allegedly way better on console.
He's
Oh,
better online.
I mean, he's got no bad losses. Reefy Knackle are like his two like standout losses, but everything else after that is everyone ranked above him.
Yeah.
I even Knackle and Reefy are just for as much as he attended, like
Hmm.
I don't think he has any bad losses.
No, and those are still like ranked or hidden boss players. So
Yeah.
Getting eighth, getting seventh at Smash Overfest is really impressive. I was very,
Yeah.
very surprised. To
2
see
years
that.
straight he did, I think.
2 years
Consistent
straight?
man. Yeah.
This year's Smash Overfest was. I'm pretty sure it was more stacked for vanilla, right? Or is that not true?
I think it was a little more top heavy. Last year's was also kind of weird because just the way the bracket got structured after ladder, seating wasn't quite like where it would if you seated it straight. So a lot of I think one side of the bracket was a little more difficult than the other, if I recall.
Mm.
Right, because of the ladder. Yeah, ladder made the seating super weird going into bracket.
So
Yeah.
it appears Bo knocked him into loser's side of bracket. Is that what happened?
it looks that way. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's a tough loss.
Bo's
what
pretty
was-
strong. I think he's definitely better than his ranking this year.
Yeah, what
Mhm.
was the discussion like that? I don't mean to take away from like this range of rankings, but how was the discussion on Bo when you went over him?
We talked to him about him a little bit yesterday and a little bit the first day. Yesterday I talked about how our standard deviations came up and how his was wildly the highest
Yeah.
and the most contentious person to rank this year. Part of it because our information was a little wrong, and part of it just because he just went to 2 tournaments back to back and called it a day. So, yeah, I think I don't know if it's quite about Bo, but a few things got talked about, how we might treat players that may have underperformed or that we consider maybe in a stronger tier than what their rank is.
What does that mean?
If I don't know, if we think of Bo, I think of Bo more in this tier of player is what I'm saying, but people are asking if people rank based on that too, or if we just treat every player as a data point.
Okay, what you're saying is that some panelists may feel like they'll judge people differently based off previous years. If
Yeah,
they're in a weird position like that.
yeah, because a more I guess a more a better example would be someone like Knackle that still does pretty good, but hasn't gotten to enough things to be ranked. How do we treat a player like that per se?
I mean, at those times, you're gonna have to take their previous skill, to a degree. It's kind of like riding a bike. They're not going to be bad when they come back.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of there were some examples of I guess legacy players that showed up for people's wins where how much you value them kind of like depends. I mean, like Shawaka showed up a couple times for people's like good wins, and even though he hasn't attended much in the last couple years, we all know like back in his prime he was like a really formidable player. So I think a lot of people would value that as a really good win. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there is a particular player that we'll see soon that kind of parallels those wins and losses. Those players are just incredibly hard to feel like you can rank them fairly in the context of other players because you feel like you're kind of taking away from somebody else or you're like giving them too much credit depending on like what you value as a panelist, and it's pretty frustrating for me to feel like I'm like doing everyone justice when I rank those types of players that have such few data points and have played against such few people amongst the field.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that we've at least play everything pretty much round robin to a degree, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, yeah.
So for ETAB, I mean, I think he's got a lot of solid wins. I mean, he's got a lot of wins in the 30s and 40s.
yeah, EPAD
And
mostly went to like kind of the smaller tournaments, but he had like really consistent results across all of them. So,
Mhm.
but I mean, I guess like compared to like some other people in this tier of players, he didn't really have that like super standout win, as we'll see like coming up with some of these other players where they have like that one or two like crazy like win. But he mostly kept it really consistent across the events he went to.
Too high of a ceiling, but pretty high floor. So it's hard to rank him any lower than 40, I think.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's pretty easy to rank them where he is because he hasn't lose to many people below him, didn't beat too many people ahead of him.
yeah, people like that kind of, I guess, fall into place where it's just like, oh, they're kind of just losing to a set group of people, and like, and his best ones are literally just in this group as well, like the ones we're gonna get to.
It's almost like EPAD's the opposite of like a KO Ken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah.
yeah.
I feel like this type of wins and losses is like the easiest to rank. Is that wrong to say? Like once you figure out everybody else, you could easily just kind of plop EPAD down.
I mean,
Was he like one of the easier people to rank?
there's always like a position or two that you could, you know, maybe he's 41, maybe he's 39.
Yeah,
But it's in that range where it's close enough, you know.
yeah.
When you look at like let's say JPX for example, who's next, you know, you can look at some of those and be like, well, maybe there's a little bit more consistency with EPAD while there's more up and downs with JPX, and that's what makes it difficult to rank
Okay,
necessarily.
yeah.
Generally speaking, the better players are the easier it is to rank them because they're not
Mhm.
losing to very many people, and then there's clear
Yeah.
data amongst themselves, particularly, and they're playing a lot against each other, so head-to-head's really relevant, and like just having like these very more consistent data points makes it easy to interpret the data.
Okay, yeah.
The further down you go, the harder it is. Like the 64
Yeah.
range is like miserable. Like it's everybody is having a rough time. You talk,
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like you're talking in circles. You release the rankings and people are pissed. It's like this was awful for everyone.
Everyone, you know, they're all going to be pissed at some point. No one's going to be happy. You know how it is.
I'm just happy to see EPAD below me at the end of the day. Or above me.
What was your set count for the year?
We won 1-1, but I beat him in the
Alright.
best of 5. He beat me in the best of 3. So
Oh, there you go.
All
yeah.
the
So, side note on that, how would you guys feel about sets being weighted different based on them being elimination sets, best of 5, and or best of 3?
I think like it's pretty easy to weigh those differently if somebody played like the same player multiple times in a tournament. Like say if they play them earlier in the tournament in pools and then like they played again like in losers bracket. I could understand like people sort of weighing it differently. Like if somebody lost in pools versus a certain player, but won later in losers bracket when it was like elimination match. I could understand if people would view that differently if it was something like that.
I think panelists did weigh certain sets a little differently. I certainly didn't weigh my set win against Zero as much as KD's set win, or not KD's set win. Shimin's set win against Zero at Smash Overfest. That was a best of 5. Zero and I played best of 3. A fucking Hyrule was included. Like,
Yeah.
like I couldn't give myself too much credit for that because it's. As a person who was in the experience, I was like, "This is pretty silly." Like, but I was also a panelist who thought that off season shouldn't have been counted at all because counting a tournament where the rules change in the middle of the tournament, just that, like, on a principle basis, that doesn't sit right with me. I understand practically speaking, it didn't affect many sets, but like going into that tournament, I wasn't thinking like, "Oh, like I got to think about like the fucking." My rank getting affected from playing on Hyrule. It just makes me laugh thinking about it.
Yeah, like it's because there's also like the little monitor problem too off season, which I think all in all didn't really. I think you may be able to argue a couple sets that might have gone another way, but the results seemed not too out of the ordinary at the end of the day, and I think that's why most the panelists were willing to rank it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's solid logic. Not everyone's gonna care about like the base principle of it.
Yeah, and at least like all of like day 2, the second day, were all super clean sets, and no one felt funny enough to go to Hyrule, which sad for the viewers, but it was nice.
Saffron.
Yeah, or Saffron. Yeah, I looked over a couple people's shoulders, saw that some of that Hyrule and Saffron, but a little wild.
Boxed 2 Hyrule only.
True.
Oh.
Subway
let's
in
go
the
to
tent,
JPX.
baby.
I'm hosting Inca Fest 3 in Peru, Indiana this year.
Holy shit, JPX has a long list.
Yeah, like that's one thing that impressed me about JPX. His win volume is like it's kind of crazy. Like the further you go down, it's like, oh, solid, still good. And he also went 1-1 with Yoshi this year. And even though Yoshi was kind of sandbagging in that SSC pool, he did go Kirby against JPX, which he did for his win at Xanadu.
Yeah.
And JPX kind of gave it to him.
Yeah,
so it's super impressive win.
I was in that pool as well, so I can like, and I watched like most of the sets that he did. Like, so that one was like a serious set. Like he like played Kirby versus JPX, so he wasn't like sandbagging for that set in particular.
Yeah, so I mean that's obviously a very good win. Beef, Etab, Chris, OJ. I mean, there's just a lot of good. Frank, there's just a lot of good wins in this range here for the amount of sets that he played. You know, with like losses to like Sam or Velocity and Minio and D-Moles, it's maybe, you know, he's got a little bit more of a dip than some people around here, but he also just played so much more.
Yeah.
The Velocity Jones 2-0 is kind of crazy.
It is, yeah. It's hard to like imagine just like what Sam has on him, you know, like
Sam's just a weird but very strong Kirby. I think if people don't play him enough, he not only plays patient, like, and is good at slowing the game down, but he's got a pretty deep bag of tricks, and he's so good at like certain situations. I feel like there's some micro situations that he looks like a top 20 player in, and like the rest of his game's like pretty strong as well.
Sam has some of the most interesting jumps for a Kirby player. Though the way he uses his jumps is like just strange. Not
it's hard
not
to hit
typical.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like it's very very elusive, like air-based player, I would say.
Yeah.
So where did JP play Beef twice at?
Big House? No.
No, Big House wasn't counted this year, and JP didn't go to that.
One of the sets was at SmashCon in D2.
Okay.
The other one was at Xanadu. Yeah, we were all in the same pool.
That's a great win.
Yeah. And JP also had like a very, very strong SmashCon second year in a row. This
Yeah.
seems to be like, I know we talk about his mental sometimes, but he just seems like cool, calm, and collected. At least like last time I saw him at SmashCon, and he was just ready to kind of get down and play his game, and he did super good there. So he's like one of those players, like he's just really impressive to watch, and he's got one of the craziest combo games I've seen with Yoshi, like especially around the skill tier. I feel like he
Yeah,
would break into like that top 30 if he still, if he kept that consistency up throughout the year.
Yeah,
Agree.
we all know he's a very emotional player, and
Yeah.
that does like come into effect his gameplay. But I think overall, like this year compared to last year, he was able to like compose himself more. And I think you saw it like at this like SmashCon, like both of them, I'd say. He really kept it together for the most part for both of them. So, it's really good to see, like, because obviously when he's on, he's just like such a skilled player.
Yeah.
To end off JPX, how many people get Instagram DMs from him about Reggie Rock?
I do. We send some back and forth to each other. A little bit of.
One of my favorite parts of the day is when I get a random DM from JPX.
Yeah.
JP took me to game 5 on our D1 set.
Crazy.
He was playing definitely the best he's ever played a tournament against me. And the only reason why I won is because I started playing like way more defensive games 4 and 5. And even then they were like still pretty close, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
set with JP in D2 is also like a nail biter. Is like game 3 last stock. Like it really could have gone either way.
All right, you guys ready to go to
Strong
Frank then?
player. Frank the Tank himself. Mexicali legend. Huge wins on the top here. Like the top 4 looking incredibly good this year.
Yeah, they do.
Like
I mean-
She-Man by himself, like really crazy. And then you had
Yeah.
Caleb, E-Tab, and our boy Chris, and it's a very, very solid resume.
I mean, I still feel like
Yeah, 11
decently
ranked wins.
Yeah, I still feel fairly strongly about like that Frank should have been ranked a bit higher. I don't think his losses are like that awful. Like you see like NoobTube
I mean,
and you think like, oh
NoobTube and
wow, he lost to
Grandma.
NoobTube, but like NoobTube did not have a bad year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he turned up like in that SmashCon pool too. We were both in the same pool. And the winner of their set actually determined like between I think me and Frank, like who got out. Or no, it must have been between me and Shears, maybe. I don't know. But
Mhm.
either way, Frank got tubed on.
Newbie
I
tube.
just realized I was talking on my ass because I looked at my ballot sheet and I have Frank right at 38.
Wow.
Nice. He should
Yeah, I
be
was-
higher. Literally at 38.
With your guys' ballots, do you just average everybody's ballots out?
So we start with an average and then kind of work through. So like I talked about with the standard deviation, we'll like make note of that. Like, hey, like these ranks are way too wide of a range. We got to narrow this down. And then as things get more settled, if we have very close averages, then we'll start discussing. And if we don't like come to a conclusion on discussing, then we'll come to a vote on it.
Yeah.
So like it's not like I think some of the older rankings, once the ballots were in, and that was that. But that way we're able to look at like oh, like you have this player pretty high. Like why is that? Like, oh, I think you guys are underrating this guy. Maybe we can look at him.
Mhm.
So I think even though it makes the rankings take a bit longer, I do feel it's worth it to do it that way. Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, Frank is just like an absolute like neutral goblin, I would say. Like
Neutral goblin.
like he grinds online like just about every day. like insanely like really good at the spacing, and even like he's like been improving his punish game like more and more as tournaments have gone on, and he's just like I would say like he really just like as far as the wins go, he kept it pretty fairly consistent with how he did last year. Even if like one or two of the losses are like not exactly what you'd expect, but I don't think they're really bad anyway. Like
No, I mean
He
everyone in this
also
good player, Grandma and NoobTube, yeah, they or Dino, Andy, they're a little bit below, but they're still good-ish losses.
yeah,
yeah, he doesn't grab ledge against Falcon either. Good for
Frank,
him.
I thought Frank was a Falcon. He's a Pikachu.
He's a
no,
Pika.
he's solo Pika.
Oh, I thought he was a Falcon for some reason.
Why would you think that?
Does he?
Why
How
is
long has he
Rex
been in the
not-
scene? Did he put Margwas and stuff?
I don't
here for a while.
remember if he really was playing that much when Mariguas was active.
He
Like,
wasn't. He
I
wasn't.
want to say like he was really like on the grind, like kind of starting
Totally.
around like COVID.
Okay, yeah.
We should get him to meet up. Maybe he can bring Mariguas back.
Frank has posted pictures of him playing with Fergus and the other Mexican player I'm not thinking of. With him playing like Falcon Dittos, so I think that's probably why.
Oh, like Guapo
mistaken.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. He posted like him doing like a Falcon Ditto with them on his Twitter, so maybe Waxy saw that. That's why he thought he was Falcon.
Yeah, they train every day, like over there. Like it's crazy.
Every day, damn.
Well, like I don't know actually how much, but it feels like every day.
They've got to build those neural
Every day.
pathways.
Oh, the Yid said Frank doesn't DI, huh?
That's not
Just
true.
barely.
He barely
He gives
dies.
it. He gives it the like loose hand job DI, if you can imagine that,
So he
where
doesn't
it's
push
like he
a
doesn't
lot
throw
of
his
buttons.
body into it or anything.
Does that imply that you could teach your girl how to do it better if you taught her how to DI? No, babe, like this. Look.
It might be.
Yeah,
I
shake.
mean, it'd be too aggressive. I think. I don't think I'd be down for that.
No.
Well,
I mean,
didn't
we lube our sticks. Imagine, like what we would need for otherwise.
Didn't Wario pull his shoulder at Inca Fest DIing, he said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
he was
changed the whole set.
questionable to return, man. He was on the IR list. That shit was crazy.
I'll say I had a bet FanDuel about that, and I lost all because of it.
Yeah, man. Imagine Crovy or
Oh,
EGDI.
I would say well, EG talked about how his shoulder gets sore too. We're gonna need to start having like physical therapists.
EG stretches beforehand just in case.
I know.
The ligaments. Poor guy.
VHJ be crazy. Oh my god.
Oh man. Oh, what did he say?
This is getting clipped.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that the effort and the DI isn't quite what you see with some other players in this ranking.
To bring this back to Frank.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Frank he may have underperformed a little bit at SSC and kind of like brought himself up when it came to battle at the border and was like back to form there, because I think
Compared
that's
to
where
what's
he got
ranking
his
last-
She-Man win.
Yeah, I mean, compared to his Lanky Rasher, it is a bit of a drop, but like you do have to also consider like all the people who like went ahead like in this ranking and were like added in as new players. So
Yeah.
it's not as much of a drop as it looks, I guess.
And his ceiling is still there, obviously, with She-Man and Caleb.
Yeah,
So as long
definitely.
get that worked out, mitigate some losses to like NoobTube, Grandma, Andy,
Nice. Excuse me.
Yeah, fuck Andy.
Excuse me.
Can't be losing to Andy.
Bro, that was like the one good thing on my year, and you guys want to take that from me. Jeez, man.
Did anybody
Frank's
see?
tough, man.
Yeah,
Did
very good.
is.
So, you're not getting wins on Caleb and Etab and Quincy without being good at the Ditto. So, obviously that's hats
I
off to
had
you.
to when I played, we played. Me and Frank played twice at Battle of the Border, like once in
Mhm.
pools and later in losers bracket. Like in the losers bracket match, like I think that was like the most like concentrated, like dialed in I've ever been into a set in my entire life. Like I was just like completely just like ignored my surroundings. Like I was just like fully dialed in that set.
He brings it out of you, you know.
He does, man. It's like it's kind of tiring to play him too, because if you let him, he'll slow the game down. Like not necessarily enough to take it to time, but it kind of reminds me how Isaiah does, where he's not necessarily playing for the timer, but he's just really taking his time with picking his spots and not
Yeah.
going in if it's not going to benefit him.
Oh, that's a really cool parallel. I never thought of that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Great way to end it.
Yeah, so onto our boy Quap, another player kind of like one of the players that's kind of back to form, so to speak, after because we've known
Yeah.
some crazy highs from this guy.
I just want to preface this by apologizing to Box for losing to Quapples because
Dude, bring this up. But if one of 4 or 5 different things happened, one
Well,
of them,
if I beat Wolf or Quapples, you make it out, yeah, and the
Yeah.
D2.
yeah.
I did neither. You're welcome.
If I take game 3
Damn.
with Sake, or if I take game 3 against Wolf, or take game 3 against you, it is what it is. I've come to peace with it. But hey, you won. You owe me one.
Was anybody in here watching Nax play Quapples at SmashCon? I was told that Quapples almost beat Nax.
I did watch. He was in my pool, so I did watch the set. Like he took a game off Nax.
That's very
and
impressive.
It was very. I think like near the end of the set, like Nax started to run away with it, but it was like very competitive, like in the first few games.
Quapples is
the rumors
crap.
were that Quapples was like supposed to win that set the way it was going.
Wow.
That's
I
like
mean,
what
yeah,
I
like, it
heard
was-
from it.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely going off in that pool, you know.
That's really crazy.
That's just how it
Wasn't
is.
Quapples like a top 5 online player during COVID?
He
Am I-
was top-
I think
he was
like
like
top
third.
3.
I think he was like second or like third.
I think he was 4th.
That's
Okay.
absurd. Like
Probably
Quapples
like just
is
behind
fucking
Boom, Jaime,
crap,
and
man.
maybe
SKG.
plus
Yeah.
one SKG.
SKG.
Okay. God damn.
I mean, he was fantastic. He doesn't have like any crazy wins here. No like wins that are like 10 or above him or anything, but his range of wins is very deep for just going to like one basically SEC and then like one small tournament beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, he
Oh,
went
no.
to Xanadu. He went to Xanadu.
Oh, he went
Yeah,
to
he went to
Xanadu.
Xanadu.
Okay.
Quapples
It's
was third. Quapples was third on the 2020 online rankings.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I
wild.
can see an argument for both Frank JPX to be above Quapples, especially Frank. I can
was
see Frank.
literally just gonna say that. I was gonna say, how is Quapples above Frank? I
Yeah,
feel like Frank's wins are way better than Quapples.
and his losses are only slightly worse
uh,
than Quapples.
Yeah, some people might have valued the floor because we're only seeing ranked names in here.
Right.
I don't think. Yeah, I can like. There's 100% an argument for that though. Like
The floor
especially with
is
someone like EPET
Frank has
getting
two
dropped,
exceptional
but-
wins. Quapples has just solid wins across the board.
Yeah, I mean,
Quapples-
that's,
I mean,
Quapples has,
Kringle
like-
and Antoine TGG are great wins. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
Frank has
Think about it this
She-Man
way.
and Caleb.
Quapples has 0 unranked losses, and Frank has 2. So that on its head alone, like if you value consistency in floor a lot, then that could be like enough to sway you because like you can't see like the rest of the list so far, like see like how good CTG is or Antoine is, for instance. Like we're not gonna tell you their rankings, but like those are still very, very good wins. Those aren't a She-Man win, but if you value consistency in floors, it's not like that crazy to have Quapples above. And also like the his like Quapples tippy top wins, like the first 5 are
But look at
like
the
if you
sheer amount.
average out the rankings of like the first 5 wins for Quapples and Frank, that numerical value is probably very, very close to the
Yeah,
same.
but then
And if
look at
Quapples has
after
less
5
bad
wins.
losses, if you average the losses, the Quapple's losses, like their average rank, is going to be a much higher quality of player, like a level of player than Frank's. So averaging like the whole list of wins and losses would paint a more accurate picture that would help you understand.
Is
why Quapples
losing
above.
to Newbie Tube and Grandma, like, I feel like the fact they beat Sheeman and Baby Caleb should outweigh Newbie Tube and Grandma more than Shears and Yid being Quapple's worst loss.
Can
You
you
know?
just say noob tube?
Oh,
he
yeah,
said
Newbie
he said
Tube.
newbie tube.
I've never heard his name pronounced until yesterday's stream. Okay, so
I mean, I think there's enough leeway here that it could go either way. I mean, I do value the consistency of not having any unranked losses. Even though Grandma and Noob Tube, they did have a lot of good wins this year, so not necessarily bad losses, but
My
know.
only issue is I feel like after Wolf for Quapples, his wins are drop off pretty dramatically. And then if you look at after Frank, after his 5th, like Reefy, Beefy, Let's Go, Narwhal, Wolf, Hooded, Shears, that's like another 5 ranked wins.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I think
mean, like you
most
said-
Yeah, I
people
guess
had
the
these
loss
two
is
like
already-
kind of right next to each other on the panel
It's-
as well.
Yeah, I mean, Quapples
It's
is
very,
only one
like,
spot above Frank.
Yeah,
so-
the way
It probably
the way I
came down
look
to
at
a
it-
vote at the end of the day.
the way I look at some of these close ones is as long as we get them within the right like 1 or 2.
I think
Then-
actually Frank, Quap, and Huntsman were all. I think
Mhm.
between the three, they were so close that everyone kind of had to reorder them separately.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you do like if you were to average like the skill of each player and the wins and losses, I think numerically it would probably slightly favor Quapples. If you average,
I want to know, Yid, are
all
you,
of them.
if you're in chat, did you win Yoshi Pika? Or I mean Yoshi Kirby, I mean? That's impressive if so. Like, I feel like it's a hard matchup, and if Yid's beating Quapples with Yoshi, that's a
I
good ass
also-
win.
Looking at some of the mid losses here, I think that
Good for you, Yid.
Frank also has more losses to people in like the 40s and 50s, like Narwhal, Dino, OJ. While Quapple's next worst loss after me is like Raichu.
That's crazy. Like Quapple's almost exclusively lost to top like 35 players.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, Quapples is good. What was his highest rank? I feel like he was like top 25 at one point, no?
Wasn't he like 19 or
20,
something?
22, I think.
Yeah,
The
good for
2019
Quapples.
rankings.
No, it wasn't last year. It must have been 2019. I think it
Yeah, I
was.
think the
It was
2019.
He was 19th on the 19 rankings. I just looked it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
Right from the old noggin.
I mean, he went from that to being 11th in Rivals of Ether ranking.
Yeah.
For the world. So the kid's a god. Like he's
Yeah, he's
fucking
amazing.
cracked that platform.
I want to be Quapples. I want to be Quapples.
He's a certified gamer. He's got the gene.
First time I beat him online in a net play like round robin, I popped off. I immediately afterwards, like I just popped off for beating like a 16-year-old.
Well deserved.
Holy shit!
I played Quapples at both like the last two SSCs and like comparing him from like 2022 SSC to like the latest one, like it was like way different experience like playing him, you know.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. You're like, no.
Well, because you're in the we were in the same pool as him, like in 2022. You know.
Yeah, he
I
was
think
my
you
only
even beat
one
him
that
as well.
year.
But like that's
Well,
what
like
I'm saying.
1-7 in that pool, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like day one
Fuck.
Pika in 2022 beat him, and then like it was a struggle. Like this last one, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. On to Huntsman then.
Huntsman.
Combo contest champion.
Another She-Man win here.
Did
She-Man-
combo
She-Man
contest
up
sway
again.
anyone's opinions? Did that move him up above? Did that move him from 38 to 36?
I think
Honest to God,
if it mattered, he would have been probably like maybe in the 20s, you know, top 20.
Yeah.
He would have been number one if the combo contest mattered, bro. Like
No doubt.
That's a head-to-head win on tacos too. So
Damn. I mean, he's got the exceptional win. He's got the Sheeman win.
He's got that waxy win ×2.
Yeah, well, that's Puff's worst matchup.
Yeah.
I
Certainly.
honestly think Fox is Puff's worst matchup by a large margin.
It's very oppressive. I don't like it either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Huntsman's solid. The loss to Henny and Demels and Reefy, I wouldn't expect Huntsman to lose that, but
No, I mean,
So
that's
like,
That's
Reefy
sorry.
gets Reefy gets Fox practice, and
yeah, I was about to say like
Reefy is
Reefy.
not
is
too far
Reefy-
from this range either.
Yeah,
I don't
Reefy's
think
like
it's totally surprising.
he gets that Fox practice from Let's Go. So I don't find that as surprising as the other ones.
I think Huntsman's wins on Pikachu are fantastic. I mean, Beef, Frank, OJ. I mean, come on, that's a very hard matchup.
Little story about that set with Beef that he won. Beef, Huntsman, and I were in the same D1 pool, and or D2 or D1, I forget, one of them. And I go up, I play Henny on this console. It freezes in the middle of one of the games. We switch to a different console, and then I see Huntsman and Beef start to play their set at the same setup. I go up, I'm like, this console just froze. You guys might want to play like on another one. And like David looks at me, looks at Huntsman, he's like, we're already here. Like, let's just play. And David was winning. He was up, and then the game froze, and then they had to restart and go to another one.
Wow.
And all his momentum was gone, and he ends up losing
Wow.
the set.
Wow.
Dave has
Beef-
terrible losses, terrible luck with consoles freezing. The same thing happened at Boxton.
Really? Yeah?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Against you?
my brother.
Against Ace?
It was quite the opposite, actually. Ace was winning, and it was game 3 last stock, and Ace had 2 stocks left, and Dave had 1. Man, oh man.
Yeah, Huntsman, like a lot of the wins are very good. You know, like the top ones, and even like some of the mid-range ones are pretty good. Like PYT did good this year. You know, Mr. Sir twice,
And
as we all know from Andy. Like Samus is like Fox's hardest matchup, so that's very impressive to get the double wins on Mr.
No
Sir. So
Yeah,
doubt.
it's almost
Some of it-
impossible.
I think that the EG one is incredibly impressive because I think EG is
Mhm.
very good at that.
oh yeah, that's super impressive.
He
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
My only John for EG is that I think during like comparative to Eastern time, the match probably happened at like 3 or 4 a.m. But still very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty
Even,
rough.
like, I mean, even like earlier in that day of the tournament, like Let's Go almost beat EG2, and that was earlier. So I don't know.
Yeah,
the
that
Fox-
was
the
that was
Fox
the
was just-
pull before, and him and Huntsman played in bracket, I think.
Yeah. Well, Huntsman, like some of the has very impressive like peaks, but at times you can let the emotions get to him a little bit. He kind of like fell apart a little bit versus Demols. If you watch the set, he kind of gave up in the second game.
Yeah.
So that's kind of rough to watch.
I watched
Yeah.
that.
Was that at SSC?
Yeah.
It was, Demols played Peak, I believe, versus Huntsman.
Yeah, I know he was not happy about his tournament SSC performance.
Wait, now that
Yeah.
we got 3 people in here for that ranking, I want to quickly interject with D-Mold getting robbed.
Rob from what?
Yeah.
I
From
agree.
64,
agree.
63.
Look, a deciding factor. I had Demols ranked, but I think a deciding factor might have been the fact that Mr. Sir had the head-to-head on Demols that year or this year. So like, they're close enough, and then the head-to-head comes in.
I'll
It's
say
kinda rough.
I think I had him like 62, 63 on my initial panel, and when we started like reordering, he ended up like 65 for me.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
super close for a lot of people.
He was one of the ones who was just barely like on the cusp for making it for me. Like him and Boba were probably like the two. Like, well, I had Boba ranked at 64, I think, but
They
Because
were
at that
almost
point,
very
it,
close.
it doesn't turn so much of why does he belong, but more so like can you make an argument that like one of these 3, 4, 5 players like don't belong here instead? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, between Mr. Sir, Soto, Hooded, Bow, and probably Shears.
I think that Demos should have been top 64. I had him in my top 64. I think he should have been on there twice, actually. Because on the ballot, there's 2 entries for Demos, and both of them I gave 64s. So it was upsetting for me to see 0 Demos.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I guess there's next year, but Demos is fucking solid. Like,
He's
Yeah,
I
really
don't know.
fucking
yeah,
good.
I'm
really
a little
good.
disappointed with him not being ranked, but it is what it is.
I played an alt that may or may not have been him online.
He
Being
ults a
pretty damn
lot on
strong.
that play, he tells me.
If you DM Demos, he is like almost always down. You DM him like around like midnight. Almost every single time I've DM'd him to play, he's been down.
Speaking of
Nice.
alting, does anyone know a Dr. Jekyll?
No,
I don't ult. I'm against ulting.
we can have an alt detection agency stream at some point, but
Mhm.
that'd
Moving
be a
on,
fun
moving-
one.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I'd say Huntsman could have been from that 38 to 36 range, but he won combo contest, so he deserves to be the 36 man.
Yeah, 100%.
It's unfortunate. He had, I mean, besides the legendary combo contest, had a bit of a mediocre Smash Con, but his Xanadu
Yeah.
and Battle of the Border made up for it, I'd say.
Honestly, and those were 2 of like the most stacked tournaments that happened outside of SmashCon this year. It was obviously IncaFest and SmashCon, but those were probably 3 and 4.
Andy, 64 font.
64.
64.
I'll go 32. 32. 64 is too
Hey.
disrespectful.
A Papa Mark win is special.
Man, we
Papa
still don't know
Mark,
who mystery text guy is, but we'll do some digging at some point.
Well,
my
at
shout
that
outs to
point, if
Papa
you're
Mark
that far
for-
down the list, it doesn't matter, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out Papa Mark for getting D1 at Smash or at Battle of the Border. I think that
What a
was
man.
really,
Let's go,
really
Papa
solid
Mark.
run. by
Papa Mark
him.
is a very cool guy.
Love.
Papa Mark, you gotta skip out in Japan, go to Frame, sleep on a futon again at my house.
So me and Marco had a really sweaty set at Battle at the Border. So we had like 2 games go to last stock. So we were so locked in, we played a 3rd game that didn't matter. And then we fist bumped. And then I was like, oh, it was flex. It was only supposed to be best of 3.
Nice.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we played one of the most intense friendlies of my life. So I guess we can go on to the next player, which, if we're being real, should be like 25th. He's only this
Yeah.
low because he got pwned for not going to SmashCon. My boy EG,
As it
local
is
legend.
deserved. You don't go to SmashCon, I mean.
Yeah, you get
As-
knocked on rank for not going to SmashCon. It is what it is.
The Smash
Yeah.
Con rankings, as we all know.
Yep. And then everyone else.
I'll say
I should have
Straight
been 1-1 with EG, but I missed a grab at ledge, and then he recovered and then back through me.
Class.
But
I saw that.
it doesn't
I saw
matter.
that.
So this is also interesting. He's like the line of did really good or not as good at SmashCon, you know?
mhm.
He's
The
he's
Hammerheart
no-
win is literally legendary.
Insane.
Falcon against Kirby is insane, especially Hammerheart's Kirby. That is an absurd win, and that
he the
is
only
his
person
exceptional
to ever
win.
beat Hammerheart's Kirby?
Yeah, I mean,
Probably.
EG was able to do what Crovey wasn't able to do versus Hammerheart. So
Yeah, that might be
Yeah.
the only time like probably the only time Hammerheart has lost like a major tournament set to Kirby, which is really
Falcon.
wild. Or Falcon, yeah.
Mhm.
And it might not ever happen again.
Crazy.
he'll be ready for
EG
the DI this
notoriously-
time.
EG is notoriously good against Kirby. That's how like he got, 2018 when he was coming up, he was beating like every Kirby, like Horby and Knackle. I think he beat D-Tan too.
Yeah, he beat D10.
Yeah.
Him and Preston with trade sets. Him and Mango
D-Tan's
with
the
trade
Kirby that
sets.
beat Kuro at that boss battle, yeah?
Yep.
Good for D.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He just stopped playing.
Who?
You can't beat Kiro and stop playing. I feel like.
D-Tan.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. He beat like
Oh,
Brody
man.
the same tournament too, I think.
Yeah,
That's absurd. Good
He
for him.
became a coder.
crazy. You know, a lot of solid wins here. A lot of wins in the 30s. Beef, ETAB, Waxy, JPX, Raichu. I mean, his list of like depth is pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
you go down 10 places and that's still a ranked win. And Hooded, PYT, Andy, Shears. No bad losses except maybe to PYT.
Yeah, I think he traded decisive with PYT. Like he
Yeah, he
lost
did.
to him and
PYT had a
pulls and beat
crazy
him in
Michigan
bracket.
tournament. That was
Yeah.
like PYT popped off in that pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably his best tournament to date. At least like one that was traveled, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was an absurd. He just fucked everybody up in our pool.
He's good in spurts. He's
No,
terrible in
PYT
bracket.
is really good. I won't take that away from him.
Terrible in bracket, great in pools.
Yeah, that his losses are just not bad. What's like he
No.
literally has no bad losses whatsoever.
None. I mean, he even his loss list, like, yeah, he didn't go to a terrible amount, but his loss list is like a line and a half compared to everyone else's was like
Yeah.
2 full lines at least. I mean, with like I said, like 15 ranked wins, that's absurd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very good
I think-
volume. He's got
A
that
well-
legendary home run win on top
Mhm.
of it. And
I
like
mean-
just the other people we're seeing that are like directly in this range, he has a head to head on too, which is pretty cool for him.
Yeah. That Hammerheart win, still insane.
Yeah. Very crazy. And I know him and Beef had other sets too that weren't counted. Just at other Michigan monthlies. And I think yeah, and then probably some sets with me and maybe Dogs as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And despite that, you guys still played like 3 times out of like the stuff that was counted.
Yeah, I think we had a few sets. I think probably 4 more sets that weren't counted, and then we played 3 that were counted. So
I
Kinda weird.
only played them twice. It was at the December.
the December one,
Monthly.
yeah,
It was I won both sets.
EG versus Dogs is one of my favorite matches to watch.
That's like a very very good Midwest rivalry.
I love it. I love it. I wish
Does
Pete
EG
Darcy played so we could watch some of that too. That was always fun.
does EG have like the best DI in the world? Is he like top 5 DI in the world, do you think?
I think so.
Definitely
So top 5 is probably Boom, Crovy, Stranded, EG in some order.
Yeah, I think EG
s-
cracks the top 5 in DI. His
Where's
DI
Boba?
is disgusting.
Where's,
But Boba's honestly probably up there too. But
Oh,
Are we
shit,
talking about
that's-
range or are we talking about intelligentness?
Yeah, because there's
I
a
think
difference between like how much.
Stranded has the best DI in terms of where he needs to go when he DIs, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah,
I'll-
yeah. 'Cause there's a
always
difference
best.
between like how like far you go with the DI and like where you go. You know.
I mean,
But in-
EG's DI was so good it made Cheers like stop playing for 2 seconds just to yell at him during a tournament.
Dude,
so-
that was
That was so
that
funny.
was so nuts. That was so
Why don't we have a DI competition? We just like like the combo contest, but with DI and pure distance.
Are they gonna practice on the sticks or are we gonna do the HJ method? Because I'll volunteer.
The Crovy HJ method. All right, next SmashCon we have a DI length competition.
What kind of length are we talking? Oh man.
You know.
Yeah, pretty impressive year from EG. I'm hoping he makes it out to SmashCon. I think he can definitely do some damage there.
Oh, for sure.
I don't understand how he decides what tournaments he goes to.
Dude, it's so
By the
random.
vi-
Yeah, it seems so
I'm like,
random.
you
that
want
he
to go to
decided
this? He's like, no,
Arizona.
no.
Like he decided to go to
then-
Arizona. It was so random. Bro.
Then he'll just hit me up and be like, yeah, I'm going to this. Like, all right.
I guess he gets the bug when he gets the bug.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
All right, let's look at the young man
The boy
E-Tab.
wonder himself.
Boy wonder.
Damn,
The
this
man-
list is
Like
even longer.
this list of wins was like, I
Oh
think
my
that's
God.
what ended him up here with a lot of panelists because it was like,
Mhm.
wow, it just keeps going.
Yeah, he played
This
so
man-
many sets.
Here. I mean, again, no like huge standout wins. Obviously, CTG and Antoine are very, very good. Everyone else is super solid. He just has a million wins.
This is the type of data I feel like the panelists love to see. This gives you
No,
so much
no.
information.
I did
No,
not.
it's bad.
Surprise.
I did not. Like
Sometimes
this.
too much data can be a little overwhelming too.
The thing is, like, he's just like like he said, like Fox said, he doesn't have like that crazy high wins, and but he still has some bad losses. But he went to
Mhm.
everything. He went
Everything.
to everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
The-
you can't knock him too hard for
Yeah.
accumulating all those losses because
That's
well,
thanks to
it's
Waxy
gonna
for
happen.
driving him everywhere too. You
Mhm.
gotta thank me.
I mean,
Thank you, Waxy.
he opened himself up to having so many opportunities to lose, and his worst losses are like still good players. Like Penny beat a ton of good people this year. Marbles is obviously good, and Dark Horse is still good too. You know, so
Yeah, Dark is
Yeah,
really good.
64 font. Just let me see what it looks like.
All right, well, that's really
Yeah.
big. Fuck.
Wait, do the one right
Yeah,
next to
baby.
EPAD too. Do the one right next to EPAD.
Nah,
Yeah, yeah.
nah.
Oh, okay.
What about this one?
What about what you gotta do with ETAB's wins against Waxy too?
No, not that one.
Oh man. Yeah, he because what Frame had a lot, or not Frame, but Rochester had a lot of tournaments this year, which kind of
Yeah.
owes some of this to this. I know he, like, as we see, he had 5 sets with Hotline, which was pretty nutty.
They played
He
4
said-
times in one weekend.
What?
That's insane. Yeah. Yeah, because they had like a Friday tournament and then like the day after a tournament, and they just had a ton of sets together.
Yeah, I mean, ETAB has the depth. He crazy up until like I guess PYT or Cool Lime or no, even Bluego, all up until
Oh,
that
but
point is all
sure.
expansion pack.
Yeah.
Or no, Baba Kanoosh, Mr. Sir, or up until Mr. Sir is like crazy. He's got some crazy wins from CTG to
Mhm.
Mr. Sir. Just shows consistency.
Yeah.
Good for ETAB.
Box, you still consider him the villain of the scene?
No.
He's most
of
certainly
course
the
not.
villain.
What?
No,
I
no,
mean-
ETAB is the villain.
There's
What?
he makes me want to win more than most, but like not in like
I
a
agree.
in a villainous type of way, just in like I just want to compete type of way. It's hard to explain.
You just dial in like super hard versus him.
Yeah, it's locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, he got by far the most likes out of any player card for today.
Oh,
Seems like
yeah.
seems like he's more of a hero.
Oh, you know
he's got nothing
the
on
villain-
Danky though for the likes.
You know, there's a archetype, the charismatic villain, you know?
Yeah,
Like, he gets a
the villain has-
following.
fans too.
No, I love
He
ETAB,
knows
though.
he knows he's the villain. He knows it.
Damn, ETAB got 79 likes. I'm
70
peeping
I
right
think
now.
Wild.
that like
Let's go.
his improvement from this year to last year is probably the most drastic that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I wonder who helped him look at the game to help it grow and get better.
Is it a certain Dogs Johnson or maybe a Robert?
No, that's
I was,
Robert.
I was
That's Robert.
waiting for the
It was-
dog self plug.
No, I was talking about Robert.
It was
ETAB told me
Robert.
his parents took out a second mortgage to pay for your fanfics. All right.
Whoa!
So I'm wondering how good
His man
ETAB
was
is.
90K in debt because of you, bro.
Oh,
You feel good
God.
about that?
I mean, I'm just happy I go to tournaments now. I don't have to be fundraised anymore. It's in my
So
fanfics,
ETAB's
but-
shot has to be crazy because he beat a guy named Handles and Crossover. So good for him too.
Yo,
He's
Wiseacre
definitely
has a
first up.
loss against that crossover guy.
That's crazy, man.
Just want to
Just
put
some
that out
basketball. Just some basketball.
there. Neil, any comment on your loss to crossover?
No comment.
The dude that Boba mic pick makes me
You got
crack up,
roasted.
dude.
You got fucking roasted, my dude.
Comment.
Okay, anybody notice like the still theme here in the rankings with like we're going up on Raichu, like ETAB Raichu, like the Rochester boys, and then like Waxy's right next to him. We had the Sharif and Kareem right next to each other. You know, like
Yeah, me
we
and
had
Box.
Natty,
Me and Box are
Natty and
neighbors.
KO Ken. Yeah,
Mhm.
Natty and KO Ken, Box and Andy. It's very convenient.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
we
very
brought this up in
convenient.
the Rochester Discord that me, ETAB, and Raichu. Raichu made the point that we're only beef separated me and them, and he was like, if only Waxy had a slightly worse of a year. But yeah, I don't know.
I think you guys have a lot of the same opportunities for wins because of all the frames. It just kind of makes it,
We all went to this. We all traveled together to Keystone and Xanadu.
Yeah.
So, like, and then SmashCon, obviously, I wasn't around, so they did their own thing, but we all went to that as well. So we all went to similar tournaments.
It's the people that train with each other. They help each other get to a certain level of skill and get consistent at that level. If they're not playing enough with other people, then they might be right next to each other in the rankings, like we're seeing in all these different cases.
I'm gonna have to start playing Boom every day.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I think I would get a little bit demoralized.
I mean, you just like do it. You just sleep it off and onto it the next day. You know.
I would get a little bit of who's the Yoshi that Isaiah plays? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking.
Man.
Yeah, I'd get a little L-man in me.
Yeah. He wears it on his sleeve sometimes, but that man's cracked. So
Yeah, I think very highly of L-man's skill.
Yep.
Anyways, Raichu.
Our
Raichu.
boy.
Raichu.
So how about these wins, huh?
Can you do me a favor and highlight what I want you to highlight?
Times 5?
I'll
Times
give you this
5.
one. I'll give
And
you
then
this
look
one.
at the wins. Look at the wins. You don't see Waxy Joe on there at all. Okay.
Yeah. That is
we talked
that is the
about that.
craziest stat. It might be a crazier stat than your Alvin win, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Huge.
I think that's ridiculous just because of how good Raichu's Pikachu is at slaying floaty puffballs.
Yeah, that's why his Pikachu was there for Kirby's and Puffs. That's literally the reason we picked
It's
up
the
Pikachu.
whole purpose for it. And
Like the fact that you made him try Ness at some point is kind of messed up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he honestly is nested better than his Pikachu.
Damn.
I don't
But-
love that match. I know it's supposed to be very heavily favored for Puff. I don't love it.
It's annoying, but I mean, as long as you just stay above Ness, it's pretty free. Like, not much they can do.
He's only got one unranked loss, but I think that just made up for it with so many good wins.
Yeah. And like
Hero.
we've seen Henny pop up. Like he's proving to have at least a skill ceiling around this range, even though the floor isn't quite there. But like outside of that, you're just looking at a pretty impressive loss for. It can be treated as an outlier, so to speak.
What was the matchup between Raichu and Zero? Was it Ness or did he go Pikachu?
I think it must have been Ness, right?
Ness,
Falcon.
No,
yeah.
so they did like a double blind and I'm pretty sure Raichu picked favorably like Pika into Kirby. And then like they ended up in a Ness Falcon game at some point.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
I want to say Zero and She-Man as, 2 wins right smack dab just right there on the table. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, and
So
I think 0-0 was like super impressive. That
Mhm.
I don't
I mean,
remember
and
his losses exactly, but that might be his worst loss on the year.
yeah. And then you start looking down the list. You still have like CTG, ETAB, Quapples, Natty, Yid, Killer. It's a very good year.
he had a rough Keystone. So he had a pretty
Mhm.
rough start, and then he just like really cleaned up.
Yeah. Waxy, were all those wins at like locals, or did you play them at like Xanadu and?
I played him at Xanadu in D1 wildcard, and then the rest were all locals.
Okay.
All the frames and
Frames
Boba
and
birthday
Baba
bash.
Baba
And...
Canoe's birthday bash. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the
It's a lot, though.
sets, I was up 4 stocks to, or he was up 4 stocks to 1, and then I
Mhm.
just came back and 3-0'd him. That was first game.
Oh, that's rough.
I would unplug, man. That's crazy.
Fun fact: Raichu knows how to play like 10 different instruments. He's like,
He was
Oh,
he
no,
was playing
Raichu
piano at
is-
frame 13. We were in the
when we were
bottom
driving to
of
Xanadu, he was talking about music theory for like
Mhm.
2 hours straight, and he knows a lot just about music in general. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. He said the best song of all time is some random Beethoven song, and I
You know which
forgot
one?
exactly. No, I forget which one it was, but
We're
it was
gonna have to up.
it was specifically in C minor though. That's what I remember.
If you
Beethoven's
hear it, would you remember the name?
No, he did play it though because I requested him to play it, but
He said Beethoven's 7th Symphony.
Okay. That's
That's
canon.
not pretty popular, right?
I think all of his ones are.
He made a lot of music.
him having a 0 and Sheeman win is
Where-
kind of crazy.
Where did Raichu beat 0?
Xanadu. Or was
Uh,
it SmashCon? Oh, sorry, my bad.
Just
It was SmashCon?
It was
Yeah.
Damn, I can't find it on YouTube. That sucks.
I do see another box loss there though. That's all.
Yeah, we gotta talk about what matters.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the things.
I am curious. Does anyone know
Little
what the matchup
stroking.
was? Does anyone know what the matchup was between Raichu and Soda? Was it Ness Samus?
It must have been.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That was almost certainly at Xanadu.
Between Kirby
Yeah.
Ness and then Samus Pika? I don't know. Who knows?
find it
Wikipedia is
out.
telling me that the 7th Symphony is an A major.
It was
So-
C minor. It was C. That's all I remember about what he told me.
I wonder.
Whatever. We'll get it figured out. Natty, you were in the
Okay.
same pool as them?
Oh yeah, like because that was at SmashCon, right? The Soto loss. Like, Natty, do you know what matchup that was?
I think
He's talking about the 0 and the 0 pool, I think.
yeah, I think the Soto loss was at Xanadu.
Oh, was it? Okay, my bad. Yeah, I mixed up the two matches.
All right, let's get to the real hero of this list.
What do you got for his dogs?
Well, my boy opened up the year with a fucking insane win against last year's number 2 NA player, KD3. So I obviously was popping the fuck off when I saw that.
And that was a
Oh, yeah.
best of 5, right?
It was a best of 3.
Best of 3, okay.
Has anyone noticed that CTG's given almost everyone a notable win in this range?
That's
He was,
just classic CTG fashion, though.
He was feeling very charitable, you know.
Like, I think that's kind of it's a little bit symptom of Puff.
Mhm.
But like for all your losses to be like in this range is still very impressive. But
Very good. Yeah. I mean, his depth of wins for Dave, fantastic.
yeah,
He went to a lot. He went to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, when you're looking at his losses, Outlandish stands out. Everyone else is ranked in the top 50,
yeah,
and
he
most
at
people are
least
ranked in the top 30.
he at least got like his revenge on Outlandish in the same tournament,
Hmm.
so it looks
That doesn't
doesn't
help.
look as bad, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, KD3
But-
one's crazy, even if it was a best of 3, and
Yeah.
it just seemed like I think it was Pika Falcon too, but I didn't watch it.
It was.
It was.
it
think
was
I did,
Pika
actually.
Ditto,
Pika
Pika
Ditto,
Ditto,
it was
and then
Pika
Pika
Ditto's
Falcon.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay,
but the last game was Pika Falcon. The last game was Pika Falcon.
okay.
I think Beef is a player who plays the level of his opponent a lot, but this year we saw more of Beef playing more his own game and more patient play than ever before, and that carried him a long way. When we played as Andy Origins, I was not sure who was going to win. He won the first game, and I was like, all right, I got to fucking tighten up because he's not playing how he normally does, playing way more reserved and way more cautious. And it was a close set. It was a really fun set. So hopefully he carries that play style with him more, because it's. I mean, you kind of need it once you get to this point. Like you gotta play the meta of 64, which is not just holding W the whole time.
Yeah.
Where does the meta start? Which rank? Like 38 maybe? I know EPAD's not playing it. Seems like the rest of these guys do though.
Yeah, I'd say it's
Yeah,
safe for
38.
Frank.
38.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's cold.
EPAD, were you late? Yeah, I can show you real quick. That's no problem.
Yeah,
What are we looking at?
Beef had a really impressive year. I honestly felt like I kind of got lucky that I was able to beat him. Like he's
Why
played super
lucky?
solid. What?
Why were you lucky to beat him?
Because
Well,
EPAD's the luckiest guy
'cause-
ever. So
Because in our set at SmashCon, like he was up 2-1 on me in game 3, and he like threw me off stage, and I was like dying, like getting like hit repeatedly. But I managed to snag him with like an up B that killed him, so I was able to recover. And then so like it was 1-1, and then I got like a combo on him like that killed him, like so I got like a comeback from that. The set's on YouTube, so you can like watch it for yourself. But yeah,
Check that out. Because he beat you at Xanadu or at Apex the year before, right?
yeah, at Apex, yeah.
All right. So does anyone have anything else to say about Beef?
me and him played a shit ton this year. A lot of them didn't count for rankings, but we played at every Michigan tournament that he came to. So it was like 2 locals and the big house, and we played at Xanadu, and we played at Battle at the Border.
Holy
and for like the most part, I think we only had one set that he like really crushed me on, but the rest were all like super close, and it was really fun to play him on the year. And
Yeah, I
like
would say-
Doc said, he's really tightening up his play. Like he's harder to like, I guess you could like kind of lead him into traps before, and he's not like as susceptible to that anymore. But his like punish game still like really shines.
Yeah,
He's got really good movement. So if you're like the one making mistakes, he can just out tech you and really fuck you up.
One of
Where
my
did he
favorite
lose to
things about-
Outlandish?
What's up?
When and where did he lose to Outlandish?
It must have been Kilroy.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in pools. Honestly, I cannot explain that. Beef beats Outlandish more than anyone else in the Midwest. Like beats him insanely hard. I don't know how that happened at all.
I
And then
still haven't
they
lost
played
one.
again. They played again, and Beef decimated him. So
Okay, yeah.
I'll have
Yeah,
to
that's
ask
like
him.
the only confusing loss that I see on this board.
I mean, he might have been above you if he hadn't lost to him, honestly.
Yeah. Don't say that shit to me.
Shit. Speaking of, shall we move on?
Right, like, good
the
segue.
man himself. The man himself.
Mr. Waxy Joe.
Mr. Waxy Joe, and
Tell us about yourself, Waxy.
yeah, what's this all about? What was happening here?
So right there is I know how to click. I sincerely think I know how to click down B better than anybody else in the fucking world. That's why I have these 3 wins right here. Okay? But like I mean, the Alvin best of 5, so it should be weighed very heavily in my opinion, maybe top 20s, but that's okay. But Alvin, I feel like that's a crazy win. Tacos, and then Take, EPAD, ETAB, Raichu 5X. I want to know if my Raichu 5-0 throughout the year had like any big sway in what, like, did that have anything to do with like my ranking being as high as it was?
We
So
mentioned it.
You and
It was
Raichu
mentioned.
were pretty close in rankings.
Mhm.
And a lot of times we look at head to head, we're like, I can't weigh that heavily because it's kind of what you do against the field. But when it's 5 times, I gotta I gotta take that
Yeah.
into account.
Yeah, if with almost equal resumes, I don't see a way that you could put somebody over another person that has 5 wins over them and no losses.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
thought that'd help me out for sure. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, overall, my wins are like pretty solid throughout the year.
yeah,
Like, I went to a lot of shit this year. But I mean, my losses are definitely somewhat questionable. At least like the first like 5 or so. I feel like
Mm.
I could be beating those people, but my wins most certainly carried me. Like the Alvin, my Smash Con was just absurd. Like
yeah,
it was a Cinderella Smash Con. I couldn't have asked for a better Smash Con.
Yeah,
it was
that
really good.
wonderful to see, honestly.
Yeah, no.
It was one of the things that like made that Smash Con so memorable. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Man, we didn't even mention like Shalaka being in that group too.
Yeah.
Like Kaioken with how good his Smash Con was.
Yeah.
Some really
But-
good stuff,
Tacos
man.
play.
Waxy, were any of your 4 losses to Robert close?
Yeah, I've had 1 game 5, and then the rest of them it was like consistently taking at least 1 game.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. One of them I was up 2-0. Neil, to answer your question, Tacos played DK game 1, and I clutched that out. The game 2 and 3 were both Pikachu, and I won game 3.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Interesting. He must not like the Yoshi matchup. If that's the case.
That's like I would have been
I think
happy. I mean, I told
most-
him right before that I beat Take, and I was like, "Yeah, I just beat Take. Look like I'm coming out in first if I beat you." That's what I said to him right before we played.
Dang, a little bit of mental warfare.
That's
Yeah.
fucked.
So I had you, Waxy. I had you like a little bit higher. I value like attendance a bit more than most panelists. I would say you went to so many things, which like you like risk a lot. Obviously, you can gain a lot too, but like I think for how much you went to, it's pretty insane that like you have like these losses because you could easily have had way worse for all the ones that you have. I put you at
Yeah.
29. So I just
Yeah,
want to let you
I
know
think
that.
I expected. So I knew I like before this one came out. I told myself I was like, "There's no way I'm not top 32," and I literally just met that threshold.
Mhm.
I expected to be in 20s, but honestly, I think the only tournament that really brings down my like losses ratio was the GMS 8, where I lost to Mr. Sir, Raz, and Cool Lime. That was
That's
just
certainly help.
a bad tournament for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you take that out, you probably go up a couple spots.
Yeah, I mean, Mr.
Yeah.
Sir counters me with Samus. Like, I'm just notoriously bad against Samuses. I will lose to any Samus. Like,
Bro,
you don't have
it's
to.
not even a bad matchup, bro. Come on.
You still beat
I
him
don't
once,
like when
though.
people
That's
say that
something.
shit to me. I don't
Yeah,
like
but
when
he
people
played
say that.
Pika versus him like for the win. All right, like it's not like he played Puff. You know.
Yeah, but it's still like my Pika. I've been playing Puff for ever since I came into this the tournaments, whatever. It's been 8 years now of just playing Puff. So like, whenever I whip out my pocket Pika, like it sometimes gets the job done. Don't get me wrong, but my Puff is just so much better. Like I sincerely think that when it comes to clicking down B, I don't think there's much better players than me when it comes to like knowing when to click down B. This is
Not
me.
Wangera.
I think I might press down B better than Wangera.
I
Sincerely.
think so. I think so. Because like Wangera obviously has like great rest, but it's like the situations that Waxy is going for the down Bs and
Right. Well,
point
and he
blank
doesn't
technique.
click down B very much in J version.
Yeah.
The thing,
Waxy
Yeah,
has
exactly.
the most unique rests in the game. Come on, let's be honest.
I
think so.
really think I
else
do.
rests,
Like no one else rests
drop
like me.
rests.
I sincerely believe no one else in this game has ever rested like the way I do.
So
Yeah,
Waxy, Natty was asking, what was your set against KO Ken like? Did he go Samus against you?
Yeah, he went Samus all it was 3-1 and he went Samus all 4 games. And I mean it was close, but it was whenever he won the one game he won, it was close game, and then the games I won, it was either 2 or 1 stock each game. Came down to the wire pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
if it's
going
going down to
all
one
Puff that
stock.
game?
Yeah, I went all Puff because at that point, like I already beat Alvin and Tacos and Take. I was like, there's no need for me to be going any Pikachu. Like I think my Puff could do it, and my Puff did it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hopefully you keep that mindset.
yeah.
Forever.
I mean, the thing that haunts me most in life is my loss to Maha. If I would have beat Maha, I think I'd be top 25 or at least be above CTG in my head. And that was like my biggest goal was to just dethrone CTG for
I had
like
you
the
Yeah.
above,
best Puff.
I had you above CTG.
That was
Oh,
that was in
man.
bracket, right? Your like your
Yeah, that was
Maha
top
game.
32. Yeah, losers.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that
think you
would
just
have been
had a
very
few
good.
too many losses in like the expansion pack, like in 60s and
Yeah.
50s. Well, most of his losses were in like the 30s and 40s.
I feel like me and him kind of swap. So like if you look through like 60 to 40, you'll see my
Mhm.
name pop up a lot in wins. But if you look through like 40 to 31, all these people, with the exception of Huntsman and I guess Quapples, like
Mhm.
I have decent records, if not positive, against all these people. Like,
Did
Yeah,
you guys
it's true.
ditto when you played CTG?
yeah, that was an unfortunate. It was game 5, last stock, last hit, and he took it.
Oh,
And
Puff
I
did a
really
Puff did
wanted that.
was that at SmashCon?
That was
Like
a Xanadu.
symbolically,
Xanadu?
I think that's what it all came down to, you know?
Yeah, it was
Is
Like
that
you
winner
still
that got
gotta
out because we both played all of our sets and we both only lost to Lowe and Brody, and it
Yeah.
was
is
winner
that
that got
recorded?
out. It was not recorded, unfortunately.
Damn.
Wait, CTG is gonna be higher than Waxy though?
Yeah, I mean he is because he's not on this list yet.
How is
Yeah.
that possible? Bro, I need to see his wins. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think when you beat CTG head to head, you got it.
Yeah, I know. I was so close this year. Damn. Yeah, CTG and Maha are my two like most crushing losses this year for sure.
Yeah.
But overall, like I think this is a fair ranking for where my losses are. Like I'm pretty spread thin. Like I said in my tweet, I just got to raise the floor higher because obviously the ceiling shows that like I borderline have like no limit. Alvin Tacos Take, like those are all 3 top 16 people at SmashCon.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, those are great.
I imagine that I have like my first 3 wins are going to be better than the next 5 or 6 people.
Wild.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and I mean that's okay because yeah, top 20s though had my name on it though. Had my fucking name.
I know, dude. If only you didn't go to GMS8.
Yeah, GMS8
Yeah,
really
if
shafted
if
me.
only if you only weren't slamming those 10% beers, bro.
Yeah, I could Neil discredits me from slamming back my 10% beers, but I was in fact slamming back 10% beers before bracket.
It's a
Dude, I
bold
saw
move.
you passed out playing Cruise that fucking tournament on stream. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like nodding off. Like,
Yeah, me and
Oh, yeah, I
Moonshoes
forgot
did the
about
40
that.
ounce. Edward 40 hands.
I
Classic.
forgot of that. Was
he
wild.
literally fell asleep in the middle of crew
I had
battle.
to
Like,
carry him to the crew battle.
Yeah, that was bad. No, I don't know why you drafted me for that crew battle. I was not ready to
you
play.
drafted him? What?
I
Not
think I
me,
was the
I wasn't
second draft too, if I remember correctly. Actually, I don't really remember. I was just told.
Classic
Yeah, I was
Waxy.
throwing up and puking 10 minutes before that, or throwing up and sleeping 10 minutes before that crew battle.
It's
That
very
kinda-
impressive you do that at the same time.
Nothing like some alcohol poisoning crew battles.
Well, I mean, he didn't. He didn't really even participate though, because he fell asleep while fucking playing the crew battle. So.
I think I did like 20% the JPX if I remember the cagged video correctly.
That
But
kind of
yeah,
reminds me of Beef throwing up from his hangover the morning of a curb stomped and then winning the whole tournament.
It's so rowdy, dude. What the fuck?
That sounds terrible.
I mean, like, I've never seen someone able to function as high as he does, like, while having no sleep and just being on whatever.
It's
Who,
impressive.
He's an absolute madman.
Yeah, Beef.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
a different
He'll
breed.
get he'll get like 2 hours of sleep and just play how he normally does.
GDC.
well, now that we're at the end, I want to plug Frame. All right, who in this call is about to go to Frame?
I'm
When
going.
is it?
I'm gonna try and go to Frame.
Chris, you got a free place to stay and a free ride if you get to Buffalo.
Ooh, that's very promising, man.
And Neil, you could ask Neil. I supplied free beer and free food the entire time he stayed. Neil,
Yeah, you did.
okay, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Host.
Very tempting.
And it's a nice
When it-
house. 420 friendly too.
Very 420 friendly. Very.
There's a big room where everyone sleeps in. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, Box also slept on one of the mattresses. I mean, like the sleeping, like you're not sleeping at a nice ass hotel. You're sleeping on maybe a mattress or a couch, but you'll have something to sleep on. It's probably a BYOP situation. though. I don't have too many pillows to go around.
Gotta share
Whatever.
some, you know.
Nah, EPAD,
Give
you
it the
missed last
head-to-head.
frame. Last frame, I supplied beer and food for everybody. Don't talk shit in chat. I need to sell this.
Oh yeah. Also tell him what Baba Ganoush does for the tournament.
I mean, I think they know. Baba Ganoush is kind of just a legend. He donates a lot of money towards that prize pool. I also told him that depending on how much I fund other players to come, that I would go half of what he puts in. So as of right now, I'm donating $250 to the prize pool.
What?
What does
Dang.
Boba do? Does
Wow.
he just have it like that, or is he just
Yeah, he
putting
got a
out-
good job. I'm pretty sure.
He's got a solid job and he's got a good living
But
situation
yeah,
where he
so
doesn't pay much
basically
for his house.
the tournament's
Okay.
free to enter, and I think he pays out up to like top 24.
Yeah, pays
Um,
out top 24, puts $500 towards the prize pool.
Yeah,
Everything's
massive,
free to enter.
massive pot bonus. I think first place last frame got like $400 or something.
crazy?
Damn.
Yeah.
Doubles.
So, and
Yeah.
I'm also donating an additional 250 depending on how much I end up donating to players to come. But
So
Oh, when
yeah,
is this?
if you get
this is
top
April
4,
27th.
if you get top 4, you're getting easily at least $150 minimum.
EPAD has yet to buy his flight, but I'll be making a ride to Niagara Falls to pick him up from the train station.
Nice.
Yeah, if I go, I'll be like meeting up with EPAD there. So if you can like pick me up, that'd be clutch.
Yeah, I'll be at a casino playing poker. That's what I did last time for him. And then once once I get a message from ePad. Although ePad has no service because he doesn't pay for cellular data.
Oh yeah.
So you got to rely. I'll rely on you to
Fox,
message
are you
me.
going?
It's like
Andy,
the
when is
worst. It's the
thing? The
worst
week
weekend
before?
possible for me. So I
I
can't.
already talked to Dogs
won on the
about it. Dogs
20th.
is not. He can't.
Yeah, it's like it's literally the worst weekend for me for work. It's the same thing as last year. They always host on the busiest weekend of the year for me. So.
Rip. I mean, I can probably go. It's gonna be hard to go to Smash stuff 2 weekends in a row with the Michigan thing and then Frame right afterwards. But I did the same thing with Frame and then Battle at the Border, so it's not out of the question.
Fuck lawns, bro. You don't need to be taking care of lawns that week.
Hey, you see my picture though.
I did
It's-
see the picture. What type of mower is that? What brand is that?
That's a Skag.
It is a Skag. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
riding those all summer, bro.
Oh man, I'm telling you, they're a dream.
Yeah, I
I,
mean,
I miss I miss it already. I've only been gone for 2 months, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to hop on a mower again.
I don't really
Yeah.
care to be breathing in the grass all day and then just sweating my
Oh,
balls off.
that's part of the appeal. After a while,
No one edges like Waxy. Well, like edging in
please.
terms of weed whacking, and then
You give that New York edge.
and then no one wheels or fucking carries wheelbarrows of mulch like Waxy. I run with that shit.
Oh, hey, do you want to just move to Akron, Ohio?
Oh.
If you got me
I
with 25 an hour cash, I'll consider it.
Oh, hey, I'll talk to a guy. Maybe we got it. We'll see. That's a lot.
That is a good amount, yeah.
All right, so is that it for tonight?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
looking like
so.
it's it.
I think so.
Thanks for
But yeah,
hosting.
Waxy's the goat on this part of
Yeah.
the list. 4 to the 31, Waxy's number 1.
It's very fitting that you're at the end of that list, on top of everyone else there. That was a sick SSC run and sick year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean my Xanadu was solid too, but my SSC just overshadows everything else.
Yeah, I can't imagine how good that felt.
Your SSC was really amazing.
Yeah, my SSC was a Cinderella run. Like I'm probably never gonna top that again, but if I do, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, just be chill, I can't complain if I top it again.
I say you have the confidence to go and do it now. You've already done it. Why not do it again?
Where did you end up placing, Waxy?
I got 25th.
25th, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I should have been 17th. Because after I beat Mahat, there's literal no chance that I beat Hammerheart, but I'd like to think that maybe I could have. And then after Hammerheart would have been Tacos, and I already beat that
Ooh,
guy.
run
So like
back.
maybe I get 9. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, good year for Waxy. A better year next year.